As my son gets older, it's becoming very clear that my husband isn't the father. My son has none of his features, along with having olive skin, jet black hair, when both of us are blondes of Scandinavian descent. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, gonna go over a story titled, My Husband Might Figure Out That Our Son Is Not His. I don't know what he or I will do if he does. And a big shout out to Daniel for sending me the story. And guys, this story, that woman, she is 32 years old. Her husband's 40. She's been with him for 12 years, so a very long time. And long story short, their son is very physically, their son, people are starting to tell that the son doesn't look like the father. And she's coming on Reddit to basically ask for help because she is deeply afraid of what he may do. What you're going to see here, guys, she obviously is a cheater, looking for a whole lot of pity and all that. And she's going to paint her husband as the bad guy here on multiple fronts. Now, here's the thing. Upon reading this story and hearing her talk about her husband, the red flags were going off when I read this. Like something, it just doesn't add up here, right? And I'll get to that later. And when I read the comments, not one single person believed her story. They all think she's completely full of crap, that she's a cheater, and now she's about to be caught for obvious reasons you're going to see, and instead is twisting things around and making up a bunch of crap to make her look good and make her husband look awful. One of those types of things. And that'd be an entertaining one here to go over here, guys, just to hear them, because I just don't buy it. Okay? And if I'm wrong, okay, I'm wrong. My bad. But I just simply don't buy it. And it's interesting to hear some of these stories when someone's clearly in the wrong, but they twist things in a way to make it that the guy is the bad guy here, when obviously she's a cheater and a liar and all that. So, starts off, she says, I know, I'm a cheater, but please hear me out. Oh, okay. I've been married to my husband for 12 years. I'm 32 years old, and he is 40. At the time, I'd just been disowned by my family. Disowned by the family. Well, first I'm a cheater, and I was disowned by my family. This is not giving her a whole lot of credibility here. For leaving our religion, and he was a nice, financially secure man who I felt protected me. Financially secure. I married him a year after we started dating. How stupid is that? He demanded, here we go, he demanded I become a housewife. He made me close my bank account, and the only money I have was his. He was able to make more than enough to support us comfortably. I had 2 kids in the first 4 years, and I was happy. You sure about that? So already we're painting the husband in a very bad light. Now again, if I'm wrong about the husband, then hey, I'll admit it, but I don't think I am. Then things just shifted. He yelled at me for the first time, and it was terrifying. I thought he could hurt me. So I silenced myself. That started the heel turn. He was angry, moody, bipolar, and no longer felt safe around him. I slept with one eye open. I was, and still am, always scared. He has never hit me, but just the sound of his booming voice is enough to tell me to be careful. He is 6'2", and I'm 5'7". If he wanted, he could seriously hurt me and our kids. So, from this description, he sounds like a monster. Okay? But here's the thing. I instantly thought, from the stories I've heard, and people in the comment section thought this too, when a woman is terrified of a guy that way, that's in a relationship like she feels trapped, the last thing they do is cheat. Because they're terrified of what he would do if they find out she was cheating once, let alone with multiple dudes. And that is where really some serious red flags in her story. And I might add, women in the comment sections are calling BS on this too. Women. She says, the constant fear and feeling of being unloved and unrespected led me to a series of self-destructive behaviors, including promiscuity 4 years ago. And 4 years ago, I had my son. I knew at the time there was a possibility my husband wasn't the father. When he was around 2 years old, I need to know, and my husband is not, and I don't know who he is. So she hooked up with so many dudes that she doesn't have a clue who this father of this kid is. That many guys. I mean, she's not a cat. You know, a cat will have a litter, and you can have a black and white kitty and a bunch of cats that are kind of gray, an all black cat. You get my point here, because apparently what works with cats is mama cat can go out and hook up with lots of different dudes, and it's kind of a mixture. That's what I was told a long time ago. So she was hooking up with that many dudes. Again, from what I've heard, if someone is that terrified, they're not going to go out and cheat because they're terrified that what he will do. But let alone multiple times. And now she knows this kid is not his. And also, in today's world, there's places to go. There's ways to end the marriage. If it doesn't work, she'd make out like a bandit in the divorce. As my son gets older, it's becoming very clear that my husband isn't the father. My son has none of his features, along with having olive skin and jet black hair, when both of us are blondes of Scandinavian descent. Yeah, that might be a clue that her boy is not his. If both he and her are blondes, probably very fair-skinned, Scandinavian descent, and their son, well, black hair, olive skin. I've already overheard his family talking. He assures them nothing happened. If he was that awful, believe me, the second that kid was born and see the skin is not exactly like his, you guys get a hint here, he would have gone crazy, and that hasn't happened. They're going to keep pressing this until he knows, or maybe he does know and am just in denial. I'm scared. If he does find out, I don't know what he'll do to me or my son. I know this will drive him crazy, and he'll do something. He'll throw me out. I have no money. I have no family, no friends, no one. At this point, my son is a ticking bomb. I don't know what to do. You're in America, lady, okay? He kicks you out, guess what? You go to a divorce attorney and you explain your situation if this is what she's actually going on here. And guess what? He makes all the money. You're a stay-at-home mom. You're entitled to all this. This is how it works. We all know this. So, bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. And again, if he was that awful, the second that kid was born, whew, hello, son. Whoa, son, you don't have my hair. You don't have my color. Something's wrong here. Let alone the kid being 4 years old. This is just ridiculous. Another update she has, she says, to everyone saying I'm wrong for cheating, I know. I don't think what I did was good, but it is an escape from feeling like a prisoner in my own home. Well, if you're a prisoner, how are you going to hide these multiple affairs? Because she didn't just cheat once. This is with so many guys, and she has no clue who the father is. I mean, think about it. If it was one guy, it'd be obvious. If it was two guys, flip a coin. If it was three guys, but if it's that many dudes, to the people who think him yelling isn't scary, let's take a moment. Imagine you or me, 5'7", 140-pound woman. You spend your day working hard to keep your husband happy, and you slip up in a minor way. That's a slip up. A white sock is now red. A steak is now slightly overcooked. You get the wrong brand of eggs. You forget that you need coffee creamer. Then the 6'2", 250-pound man comes and gets you in your face and screams at you. Well, this is accurate. If she is indeed telling the truth and I'm wrong, that's awful, and that shouldn't happen to anybody. But I just don't buy this story. He tells you you're stupid, that you're sabotaging his home, that he asks you to do so little while he's slaving away at work, and you still manage to F it up. He grabs you by the arm, and when you try to back away, he holds you in place. He tells you that you can't do anything right, and you're lucky that he found you, or you'd be alone, and no man would want someone like you. Again, she's painting this guy as a real monster, and if I'm wrong, then he is a monster, and nobody should deal with that, but I don't buy it. This happens weekly, if not daily. You're human, you make mistakes sometimes, but your husband demands perfection, and for you, you never slip up. I was terrified, as every time he yelled, he got meaner. Anytime I tried to avoid him, he'd hold me in place, lock me in our bedroom, and do whatever he could to make sure I couldn't get away. If he did all that, how did she have time to go out and hook up with so many dudes that she has no idea who the father is of her kid? It is terrifying. I pray none of you telling me it's no big deal has to experience it. And she ends it abruptly like that. It's just there's too many things that don't add up. You become a bit of a detective eventually after doing enough of these things. So now I'm going to read some comments here. One guy says, not passing judgment, just a serious question. If you're so afraid of your husband, then how are you not afraid to cheat multiple times with multiple men? I was in a very abusive relationship when I was younger. This is from a woman. And I was afraid to take 5 extra minutes at the grocery store. There was no way in hell I would risk cheating or even looking at another man. That comes from a woman. Right. Now, there are exceptions to things, yes. But if he's making her feel like a prisoner and his eye's always there, how's she hooking up? And again, she'd be so terrified of what he would do. And if he was that way, the second the kid was born, it was obvious that kid wasn't his. He would have exploded. I don't hear anything about that. And now the kid's running around, he's 4 years old, and he's still not doing anything about that. Another one says here, I'm so confused how the child has olive skin and jet black hair, but she has no way of figuring out the father. All this tells me is that she slept with an abnormal amount of people, of which a large percentage might have had those characteristics. Yeah, an abnormal amount. Even if there were 5 dudes, she could probably process of elimination, but she still doesn't know. Another guy says here, this sounds like a manipulative person trying to get the advice, but also trying to make sure people take her side. Yeah. Another one says here, I was thinking that she wasn't too scared if she was sleeping around. I've lived with an abusive, mentally ill piece of crap that's so bad you jump like you've been shot in if a commercial comes on that has a higher volume because anything can set him off. And you know what you can't don't sleep around, have someone else's child and then try to pass it off as his, because that kind of thing that does get you offed or beaten so bad you wish you were dead. I'm not buying the story at all. I'm thinking it is a manipulative person who didn't think the story through or troll. That's another woman who went through the same thing, who went through what she's claiming to go through and calls complete BS in this story. Another one says here, yep, this sure sounds like a manipulator with lots of excuses for her actions and who knows how to word things and what words to use to try to paint him in a certain way when from what I can see he hasn't done anything abusive. There you go. And remember, guys, how many of you guys have heard stories I've done both on this channel and the other one? A woman wants to break up with a guy, or a guy breaks up with her or something, and all of a sudden she is making claims about things that he has done in the past and all that, which he's never done. And some go so far as to injure themselves to show marks. Okay? Now, I'm not saying there aren't guys out there that are that way, and that are pieces of crap, and they are, and they deserve what's coming to them. But so many guys get accused of different things, and there you go to cover up her own bad actions. Is it possible that she wants to divorce this guy and knows that, I don't know, there could be issues, but it's easier to maybe write a post on Reddit and say, look, I had to share my story to the world, and he's doing these awful things, or I don't know what. But the point is, I just simply don't buy this year, but it's amazing to me she's hooked up with that many dudes that she has no idea who the father is. Good Lord. But, and again, as I say, we're living in Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0, so none of this really surprises me all that much. All right, guys, that's a quick one. That'd be an entertaining one for here on a Saturday. Be sure to comment down below. Let me just think about this. I want to hear your opinion, guys. Do you think this is real? Or do you think this is complete BS by a master manipulator, liar, and serial cheater? I'd like to hear your opinions on this. Either that she is telling the truth, this guy is that much of a monster, or she's completely full of crap. And the 4% of women that watch me, I'd like to hear from you guys if you happen to have experience in this with someone that's like this or someone you knew. Let's hear about that. And also, guys, you got a great story like to share, by all means, email it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me some time to get to it, and I definitely will when I get a chance. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.